What is up, my dear friends, and welcome back to another episode here on the Honey I'm Home podcast, a podcast that's going to help you to lead your home so that you can create happiness within. Today, we're going to spend some time just enjoying a conversation, hopefully a mindset shift, a perspective change on how we show up. You know, there's a quote that goes, how you show up for one thing is how you do everything and show up for everything. And I want to help you to be able to navigate and lead your home by helping you to understand how you should show up prior to getting home. So by the time that you step in your home, you're ready to take on what's within your home. So I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Now, on to the episode where we're going to be talking about how to transform your mindset so that you can be more intentional throughout your day and inside your home. What is up, my friends, and welcome back. We are here together again. Happy Thursday to you. As you may know, Honey I'm Home is a podcast that is going to be released every Thursday and as well as every Sunday. And currently we're working on the transition where the Happy Heart Academy is transitioning over into Honey I'm Home. For those of you that have experienced the Happy Heart Academy podcast, there's not going to be much of content change. It's just going to be more branding change. And I want to make sure that you're aware of that branding change because I'm not going anywhere. The content's just going to get a lot better. And we're going to have more vast topics that we're going to be talking about together, whether it's how to lead within your home or how to build a better relationship with yourself, how to transform your love life and create a greater essence of love in your life. You know, we're going to be talking about a lot of things, but today, on Thursday, we're talking about how you can begin to show up. Time and time again, I feel like we allow life to present us with our life. I don't think that this is the right way to respond. I believe that we're here to create a life. I believe that we're creators, and therefore we need to create our reality that we wish to have and to experience in our homes. My friend, I'm asking you today to set some time aside for yourself and plan out how you're going to show up today. Not only for those within your home, but how are you going to show up for yourself? How are you going to show up for those coworkers that you work with? How do you want to respond and be in life? These are questions that I've found myself thinking about countless times. You know, I believe that we have to set our intentions clear. We have to set clear intentions in order for us to be able to show up to life, show up in life in a way that is congruent to who we want to be, who we know we can be, and who we must be for those that we love and that we surround ourselves by. You know, I started this episode off with a quote that goes, you know, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Think about that. Think about how you do one thing. Every morning when I wake up, I make my bed after my wife gets up, and I think that it's important for me to make it with perfection because ultimately how I make my bed will begin my day. How I do one thing is how I do everything. And I want to share a little bit of a story with you to hopefully help you to begin to own your home life so that you can win within your home life and experience a better quality of life. Because Honey I'm Home is hopefully here to help you to create a better quality of life, help you to generate the leader that's within your own heart, in your own mind, because you have yourself to lead, you had people to lead, you have a family to lead, you have your kids to lead, you have your relatives to lead. You are a leader. If you're listening to this podcast, it's because you're a leader and you want to take leadership over your life, over your family, and over your future. And I'm here to just kind of talk with you through it. And so today, let's talk about how you can begin to set the intention on your daily life so that you live a better quality life. The first thing I really want you to think about is the importance of how you're showing up. So if I were sitting with you today and as a client of mine, I would be asking you, you know, if you're not experiencing the quality of life that you want to live, I'd ask why not? Are you setting the intention to be who you want to be and to feel the emotions that you want to feel? Are you just going through the day and going through the emotions with no vitality, no aliveness, no charge within yourself? You see, every day before I step out of my house to take on the day, I got to make sure that I already know who I'm going to be that day. I've already told myself who it is that I'm going to be so that when someone comes into my office or when someone, you know, shows up in my life or whatever may happen, they can't come into my life and tell me who I am because I know who I am. I've already set the standard. I've already declared who I am. I've read the Bible. I spent some time in the Bible. I learned about who I am. God told me who I am. Therefore, I'm going to listen to who God says I am, not who somebody else says I am. And I need you to start thinking about it. Who do you say that you are? How do you want to show up? Sometimes our misery comes into our lives because we're not showing up congruently to the very individual that we desire to be, that we want to be. We say we want to be a healthy, happy leader, but yet we don't do the very things that make us feel healthy and or happy. We say that we want to be an intimate lover, but yet we're not going into our homes with a smile on our face, greeting our loved ones with open arms and a kiss and intentionality to spend some quality time with them. We're not setting the culture within our own homes that are asking our families to set a time out on throughout the evening that's going to allow us to enjoy our time with them. Are you setting the standard? Are you being the standard? Are you being the leader within your own home? My friends, I am asking you this because these are questions that I'm asking myself as I lead my own wife and my own family. I have to sit down and ask myself, Tyler, am I being a good leader? Am I leading from the front? Am I, happy with who I'm being today? Sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no, but it doesn't mean that I'm not asking that question on a daily basis. And I need you to sit down and ask that question on a daily basis, right? Sit down and ask yourself, am I showing up to my greatest potential? Am I leading from my own heart or am I living from my hurt? Think about how you're showing up and how you want to be perceived, who you want to be so that you make yourself proud and so that you can lead your family from the front. Spending some time today thinking about that is going to help you to live a better quality life because it wasn't until I took control of my life. And the one way you take control of your life and your family is by setting the intention, gaining clarity on who you want to be. I can't stress it enough, and I won't stress it enough because you have to understand the reason why we live in misery is because we don't have clarity. We must set the intention and be very direct with who we want to be. So let me talk about what I do in my own life before I get home. So I have about a 30-minute commute back home every day. And in that commute, I make sure that I spend some time in silence and solitude and give thanks for this day. I give thanks for this day. I give thanks for life. I give thanks to God. I give thanks for breath. And I just sit in solitude and silence and enjoy the ride back to my home. And then I start to think about a couple things that I'm grateful for, to put myself in the right mindset, the intentionality. I want to go home with happiness in my heart so that I can love on my wife, so that when I'm there with her, it's a joy to be with her. Because it's not always a joy to be with me. I'll tell you that. When you're married, your partner sees the worst and the best of you. But I want to make sure that we have more great days than we do bad days. And that's all in how I show up and prep prior to walking into my home. So how are you walking into your home? Do you have a prep time before walking into your home? Do you have time where you're just spending time thinking about, how do I want to show up? What kind of emotion do I want to bring to my home? Is it one of stress and overwhelm, chaos and turmoil, or is it one of hope, love, excitement, thrill, aliveness, energy, vitality? What is it? How are you showing up? Think about it. You need a prep time. And, my dad, if you tuned into last week's episode, I talked a little bit about my dad and what he did. Prior to my dad walking in from his job every single day into our home when we were living with him, he would always spend about 10 to 15 minutes in his truck prior to coming in through the door. One day I asked my father, I said, Dad, why do you sit out in the truck and what looks like you're talking to yourself? He said, son, because I need to show up as the father you need me to be. And I need a pause period, a break period, a moment of solitude for myself to reclaim and collect my emotions and my mind before I enter my home, before I enter my home with my kids. My dad was very intentional, still is very intentional. But what he's taught me is that if you want to run a great home, if you want to create happiness in your home, you got to keep the stuff at the door, whatever stuff that you dealt with, because if you don't and you bring that into your home, it can cause a lot of emotional detachment from your partner. Now, ultimately, I understand the importance of, your partner being there for your downtimes. And I'm not saying to ignore those downtimes, but I'm just saying, like, make sure the first thing that you do when you walk in your door is to greet your lover, your kids, your animals, or just yourself with a sense of gratitude, a sense of love, a sense of welcome. Like, give yourself that time with open arms and being like, I'm home, and I'm grateful that I'm home and that I have a home that keeps me warm and safe and healthy and happy. This is the intentionality that I set every time I walk in through my door. I have a family to take care of. I get to take care of a family, and your family could just be yourself. But thank God you have a home in which you're not out on the streets. Show up in your home and create a peaceful, happy home. And the way that you create a peaceful, happy home is by creating a peaceful, happy home within your heart. This a lot allows you to be able to, transform not only your home, but yourself. When you start to think about who you want to be and how you want to show up in life, it begins to transform your home. So in order for you to transform your home, you've got to work on transforming yourself. In order for you to transform yourself, you got to understand who you need to be and set some things that you can actually implement into your life so that you are being who you say you are. And then when you walk in that path of congruency, when you show up and be the person you know you should be, that husband, that leader, that mother, that father that you know you should be, and you're living in alignment with that, your happiness increases, your peace increases, your confidence, your competence, everything increases, your self-worth, your self-image, your self-respect, because you're being the man, you're being the leader, you're being the woman that you know who you truly are in your heart of hearts. My friends, don't take this lightly. Today's episode is just a perspective. It's just mindset. It's just a thought that I'm wanting to share with you today because it's on my heart, because I think about it daily, and I don't think I share it with you enough, is how intentional I am every single morning prior to walking out of my house and declaring who I am and who I want to be for others. I want to make sure I'm welcoming. I want to make sure I'm happy. I want to make sure I'm enthusiastic. I want to make sure I'm the most vibrant person that they're around, that when I leave, they notice that my energy's gone, that I'm no longer in their presence, that life seems to dwindle a little bit, in hopes that it inspires them to bring the same joy, that every time that I walk into a conversation, I want to be the most welcoming individual. I want to make sure that the compliment that I get from someone new when I show up and meet them for the first time is, Tyler, you're so very welcoming. I strive for that daily because I want to make people feel something greater than whatever it is that's on their mind and heart that's stopping them from feeling something great. I want to be the individual for you that can help you to see the greatness, the happiness that's tapped within, that hasn't been tapped into for a while. Listen, your home matters. You need to take time to prepare for yourself, to get clear on who you want to be and how you want to show up in your home, because your kids rely on you. They need a strong leader. They need a strong leader to show up. They need someone like yourself to show up in their life to lead them out of chaos, because sometimes you're the only version of a leader that they get. And I'm asking you, are you the correct version of a leader? Are you the correct leader that needs to lead them? You're their parent, you're their provider, you're their protector, you're their lover. Are you being a good lover, leader, and server? Maybe you are, maybe you're not, but let me just ask you to continue to show up for yourself. Choose to feel better about yourself. Choose to feel better about your situation. Sometimes your emotions, I believe, are a true choice. You can choose to let go of pain, or you can choose again. You can choose again. You can choose to let go of pain. You can choose again. You can choose another emotion. You can choose another thought. You can choose another way of living and being. So my friends, I'm asking you to please take some time today to think about how you're currently showing up, and ask yourself this: am I showing up with the intentionality? Am I living with the congruency that I know how I'm supposed to show up? Am I being the person who I know I should be for my loved ones, for my family, for my coworkers, wherever you show up? Sometimes you've got to realize that you're not showing up enough for yourself and setting the practice or the standard to be able to show up for somebody else. When you don't have time alone to sit in solitude, to be alone, to think about these things of, how do I want to show up? How do I want to greet my family? How do I want to greet my wife? How do I want to greet my husband? How do I want to greet the person within my home? How do I want to greet myself? How do I want to set myself up for success to know that I'm loved within my home and within my own heart? Well, you do that by setting the standard and setting the intention to be the person who you're feeling called to be. My friends, I invite you to infuse intention into your daily life. I ask and I call upon the leader within your own heart. I ask that you tap into that very, very delicate place within your heart. I'm asking you to show up within your heart so that you can lead from your heart rather than your hurt. I'm asking you to show up and be more intentional in your home. Stop just showing up into your home and just being there, hardly being there, disconnected from there. Your family needs you. Your future you needs you to show up today. Your future family needs you to start practicing some leadership abilities that are being implemented in your own life right now today so that you can be the leader they need you to be tomorrow. If you have a family that you're showing up to in your home, or if you don't, I'm still asking you to show up in your home in the way that you hope that your loved one would show up for you. With presence, with excitement, with vitality and aliveness in your heart. Because your home needs you, and your heart needs a home. And if you can take one thing away from this episode today, this quick episode on just me sharing some thoughts with you today, it's this. I ask you to get out a piece of paper and pen, or maybe go into your phone on your calendar. And I need you to set out 6 total different words. I need you to focus on 3 words that are who you are today, how you're going to show up today for yourself. You're going to write out 3 words, and then you're going to write out another 3 words on how you're going to show up for others. Every single day, I have 6 words that go off in my phone 3 times a day. And I'm asking you to write down the 3 words that you want to commit to being. So today, you're going to say, I am happy, I am confident, and I am loving. Okay? So these are the 3 words that I want to be for myself. I want to be happy, I want to be enthusiastic, and I want to be loving. And then you're going to think about the 3 words that you want to be for those that you're showing up for. I want to be confident, I want to be kind, and I want to be present. And then you're going to focus on being those things throughout the day. And you got to identify, if you're going to say that you're going to be loving, you need to put a loving action to that, right? So think about this. You can't just say that you are something and not be that something. So you got to ask yourself, how do I show up and be loving? Well, one way, in my eyes, is when I say that I want to be loving, I usually apply a hug. I'm like, okay, my action to show that I love something or someone is I'm going to hug that someone, right? I'm going to greet them with open arms and a smile. If I want to say that I'm going to be happy today, if that's my intention, I'm going to make sure that my facial expressions and muscles are showing a slight smile rather than a concentrated look of focus and determination on my face. Because your facial expressions dictate the quality of emotion that you're going to experience. You should try it out and study how you can change your facial expressions to change your emotional state. It's a beautiful thing. I do it all the time. So just think about the 6 words that you're going to focus in on each and every single day. And I ask you that you keep those 6 words throughout the rest of the year or throughout the next 30 days and just try to focus on being more of those 6 words. And once you show up with that intentionality and you show up as that individual that you know that you are, I promise you'll begin to live a better quality life, lead a better quality home, and feel better about yourself.